हाईटेक कन्वर्सेशन में आपका एक बार स्वागत है। और आज का वीडियो बहुत खास है क्योंकि मेहमान बहुत हमारे साथ खास हैं और गाड़ी जिसके में बात करने जा रहे हैं वो उससे भी ज़्यादा खास है। गाड़ी तस्वीरों में आप देख सकते हैं, बाकी चीज़ें भी हम आपको बताएंगे, लेकिन अभी आपको हम जिनसे मिलवाने जा रहे हैं वो हैं इस गाड़ी के रचयिता। जी हाँ, मैं डिज़ाइनर की बात कर रहा हूँ जिन्होंने इस गाड़ी को उस फॉर्म में बनाया जो कि प्रोडक्शन स्टेज तक पहुँचेगी और फिर आपको रोड पर आपके घरों में दिखाई देगी। इस वक्त हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं हेड टाटा मोटर्स डिज़ाइन टीम मार्टिन। एंड मार्टिन, थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर टेकिंग टाइम आउट फॉर जागरण।
Thanks for coming.
First of all, initial impression, if I may say, it looks different.
Yes.
Right? It looks different, and it is something that we hadn't seen much on Indian roads.
That's right. That's right.
So that would be my first question. When you were designing this car, initial stages, what was in mind? Is it a global viewers that were in mind, or it was specifically made for Indians?
This is a car obviously designed for India, and the intent is to put it in on the road in the next 2 years. So we clearly, have a strong belief that this is the right product for the right time. We've seen globally SUV coupes, proliferate the market. Almost every brand is offering them in their portfolio, and we feel that you'll see that coming into the Indian market very quickly, and we wanted to be the leaders in this market. At the same time, SUVs are the core of our portfolio. From Safari to Punch, it's really now we have a comprehensive range that covers every segment, and we were looking at where to expand that. At the same time, we decided that it should be an EV first product. So if you experience our EVs, they have a real unique driving experience. They're very engaging, very entertaining. It's no longer just a responsibility, to have an EV, but it's actually quite a fun vehicle to drive. So we thought that marriage of an SUV with the EV powertrain is actually perfect for a coupe silhouette, because you're adding that sporty, dynamic, exciting aspect to an EV, and again with the security and practicality of an SUV.
Martin, it is tough, if I may say, right, to be different.
Yes.
Right, and in a market like India, where people are not so open to different things that come out on road, right? Do you think it's a calculated risk?
Yes, it is a calculated risk, but I think we're pretty good at our maths. So if I look at the way, first of all, every market, automotive market is conservative. Automobile is probably the second biggest purchase a person will make, after a property. So people are very considered. Their heart might say one thing, but their head will analyze the purchase, resale and a number of, sort of practical factors. But ultimately, for us in Tata Motors, we've seen that pretty much every time we've placed a bet, whether it was with the Nexon or with the Punch or with any other sort of product, the bet's always paid off. I think there's a confidence that as a brand you have to put forward that you know what you're doing and you know where the market is, and you're also in touch and you have a communication with the customer preferences. So we can see that customer preferences are evolving. We can see that the Indian market is extremely sophisticated and is really open to a lot of new ideas.
That's fantastic, and I must confess from my side also, last one and a half decade that I have been a journalist covering automobile. Tata Motors is one company that is able to get the concept to the production stage, and more or less 90 to 99% whatever is shown on the concept is there.
That's right.
On the road also, which is so we can imagine this thing on road for sure.
Absolutely.
But could you please take us through the design? How it all started, the people behind it, and what is the USP of this design that you think is going to work the most on Indian market?
Yeah, so when we started, as I said, we found that recipe of SUV foundation, EV powertrain, and a coupe typology. That was essentially those three elements sandwiching together. From a design point of view, we always have a design competition. We have 3 studios globally. So we have one in India, one in the UK, and one in Italy. So it's an open competition for every program. Everybody put sketches forward. Subsequently, we had the winning design. It's always on merit. So wherever the theme gets selected, it gets developed. In the case of this one of our designers who happens to be Italian, he actually went to the UK because one of the themes behind one of the USPs of the design is aerodynamics and efficiency, which very much influenced the overall design. We have access to a full-size wind tunnel in the UK. So we took the full-size clay model into a wind tunnel, and we worked with the engineering team to really optimize the design as much as possible to get the best target. And this is all being done not just for the sake of a concept, but actually with a production intent. So in many ways, it was a 99% production car. Then we decided, okay, we're going to look at it from a conceptual point of view. That's where they deviate. The production car stays the course, with all of the feasibility, and the concept car, you always add a little bit of spice just to, dial up the volume a little bit. But essentially, that was the background to the development of the design.
And that's the name that we see, Max Back, the Italian, whose design has been finalized for this lovely Curvv. Talking about Curvv, talking about the car coming onto a production stage.
Yes.
There may be n number of times in the past, Martin, if I'm not wrong, that there would be, I have seen, for example, Racemo and all the cars which we were very much interested to see them on.
Sure.
But couldn't make to the road, right?
That's right.
Did it ever happen with you?
Oh, yeah.
And how much percentage you think that this concept will be like?
This concept will definitely, go into production in the next 2 years, as was announced by
How much changes you expect? How much changes you expect in the concept?
How much percentage of, 90 to 100%. I mean, essentially, this is...
The rate is always good in this.
Essentially, this is the production car with a few details, which are the differentiator, which are the show car aspect. Essentially, we always want to deliver on the promises. And I think, like you mentioned, we have a pretty good track record on this up to now. In terms of, the hit and miss, batting average, for lack of a better word, over the course of my career, I think I have more misses than hits, than home runs. But that's part of the business. You have to always propose and always, be forward going. You always have to take a swing. To get that, home run.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed for
Oh, definitely.
Everything, whatever you design or the team usually works on, there is some sort of inspiration behind that. Right?
Yes.
What was the inspiration behind Curvv?
The inspiration was really to come up. We looked at the customer preference and the sort of identifying a sort of profile, and we really looked at some people who are responsible. That's the EV aspect. Clean living, interested in sustainability, but then you see that emerging from a lifestyle point of view. So people who are athletic, people who are sports focused. So a lot of the image boards that the designers had were not only just like the activities, but also sportswear that influenced the interior color and trim a lot, actually. The overall sort of patina of the car. And that sort of simplicity, if you look at sports gear, quite a lot of it is very high tech. Now the materials used, the cuts, the way it's presented, the graphic element of it. So all of that was very much influencing the designers, as they were developing, not just the 3D of it, but even the 2D of it.
If I talk about Indian customers as such, हम हिंदी में कहते हैं बड़ा है तो बेहतर है. The bigger and more flashy the car, the more they like.
Sure.
Like the Chinese market, right? But here I see a lot of change. It is nice, premium, sophisticated, clean, not much of a bling that you see, right? There is loads of light work that we see, and these very sharp, thin. So as I was asking earlier, calculated risk that you have taken. So all these detailing and everything, keeping it a little toned down, more premium and sophisticated. Was it a mature decision?
Yes, I mean, we want to make a design that is as refined and timeless as possible, but at the same time, it has to be engaging. People have to see it, and they have to get emotionally excited by it. So the bling, as you call it, I think it's all about making it attractive. And there's a lot of different ways of doing that, accentuating lines, making lines more sharp, and at the same time, the lighting, the LED graphics now are a big part of our products, especially for EVs going forward. So I think, we compensate, what would be traditional, things like chrome, with new technologies, new accents. But the main thing is it's expressive. You know, when you see it, you go, I need to have that. That's the most important thing that a design has to do.
Did the production team, when you said, I need to have, this is the model, this is what I want to see on road, was there any conflict of interest? Was there anything that they say, it is not possible, it is going to be a little tough to make?
Oh yeah. That's normal in any design process of any product, that design and engineering and manufacturing have to work together to achieve the final product, and it's a collaborative discussion. I say discussion rather than argument, but sometimes it can get quite tense. And actually one of the elements was we in design pushed the rear wheel rearward, so we lengthened the wheelbase of the car, because we were using a portfolio of platforms that exist, and we said we need to have the rear wheel rearward to get a better proportion, because otherwise the coupe proportion doesn't work. The C-pillar and the rear roominess doesn't really function, and there's a cost impact on that from the development. But actually, when it was weighed up, even the management agreed that the car looks better. And if the car doesn't look good, then the absolute foundation of the proposal doesn't really, there isn't one. So this was something that we all agreed, but it was something that design really had to fight for.
And as we know, this is Gen 2 platform, and this is going to be an IC version also.
That's right.
Petrol and diesel that will be coming. So in that case, you took all these things in consideration in advance?
Yes. Yeah, we always designed it with both variants, powertrain variants in mind. So the front of the car is different on both. So this is the EV design, and then there will be an ICE version of this design. And they will have a different down the road graphics, and it's also driven by we want to obviously identify it's an EV, but at the same time, ICE version requires more cooling. For example, so that those basic hard points dictated.
Martin, if I may say so, there will be n number of other products that you will be working on right now.
That's right.
And there are chances that there are things that you love in this car which will be incorporated in the other cars also.
Yes.
So do we see a family of designs based on Curvv?
Yes. This is actually the first product of, I would say, the next cycle, next generation. But our design DNA, has always been very successful. So we don't see a revolution, we see an evolution. But I'm just saying that this is a more accelerated evolution now. So a lot of the features that you see on the Curvv, you will then subsequently see on the rest of the portfolio that you already know. But you'll see that over the next couple of years, start echoing.
So they will be there on the facelift as well as in the new model.
Absolutely.
So now we can see a Punch or a Harrier.
You'll see, that language. Yeah, that language. You'll see it eventually, come across in the next couple of years.
Martin, thanks a lot for the time. Good luck, fingers crossed, and hoping to see this beautiful product on road 2023, 2024 as soon as possible.
Can't wait to go for a drive.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.